Hey everyone, and welcome to what's probably going to be the first video you ever see from me on YouTube. I just figured the new Post Malone F-1 Trillion album came out just a couple days ago. Post Malone is definitely my favorite artist, and I figured, with all these new great songs that came out, why not put them into a tier list? You're probably not going to see much of any editing on this. It's probably just going to be raw footage. That's just kind of the way I would want to roll with the videos. I don't know how often I'm really going to post anything, but I figured, new album came out. I love it. I've seen a lot of album reactions and people have had a lot of mixed opinions on it. So I figured, why not give my opinions too? So I'm going to try to go in order of the way the songs were in the album. So I believe the first one was Wrong Ones. And to me, this is one of the better ones of the album. I think it's an A tier song. Starting off pretty strong with more of an upbeat type of thing. I mean, they've got like the minute of just straight instruments towards the end, which I think is really, really cool. They were just kind of jamming out there. You got that. You got just, I don't know, just I like the raspiness in the voice that you hear from Post towards the beginning, near the chorus. I just think it was a well done song overall. And yeah, so I'll give it A tier. Finer Things, to me, I didn't love this song that much. I'm gonna give it C tier. I think there are good parts about it. I think it's a catchy song. I think Hank Williams Jr. is a talented artist. I don't know much of his work, but I think he's a talented artist. Just overall, I'm not sure what it was. It wasn't really doing it for me. Um, yeah, I'm gonna give it a C tier. I Had Some Help was next, and to me, this is maybe my favorite song in the world right now. Morgan Wallen is probably my second or third favorite artist. You got Post number one, and then Bruno Mars and Morgan Wallen are kind of interchangeable at the 2 and 3 spot. But like when you put two of anybody's favorite artists together, it's like how can you not like that type of song? Extremely catchy, obviously gone viral across the internet, which I love to see. And it was kind of my introduction to liking country music. I was never really someone who listened to any country music at all. But when I saw that they made a song together, started checking out Morgan Wallen. Actually, went and saw him in concert a couple months ago, which is why I got this shirt. And yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite songs in the world right now, if not my favorite. It's just everything about it is very, very well done. Number four, I believe, was Pour Me a Drink, another one that came out early. I'm going to give this a B tier. I like the song. I think it's catchy. It's definitely not as strong as I Had Some Help in terms of the solo ones that came out. But I think it's still a catchy song in general. I think the downsides are it's a bit repetitive. The bridge is like just 5, 6 seconds of instruments, which you can have success with an instrumental bridge. It's just I think it needs to be longer than that if that's what you want. Um, so I think that kind of docks it a little bit. But overall, still a catchy song, still a song that if it's on, I'm not going to skip it, anything like that. It's still a good song. Blake Shelton, obviously a talented artist as well. Have the Heart was next. This was probably one of my least favorite as well. In terms of, you know, um, Post Malone being publicized in the country music industry, this is one of the best ways he could have gained publicity by bringing on one of the most iconic country singers ever in Dolly Parton. But with her age and everything, it's obviously probably a bit limited what he can, create in terms of a song with her. I thought that the sound was fine. It was a bit catchy, but obviously pretty repetitive as well, similar to Finer Things. It just wasn't one of my favorite songs. Yeah. Um, Next was What Don't Belong to Me, and this is going in S tier as well. I'm going to try to keep it kind of even in terms of songs that go in each tier. I just think that's probably the most fair way to do it. But What Don't Belong to Me is unbelievable song. Probably my second favorite song in that whole album behind I Had Some Help. And it's not that far away from it. It's just everything about it I absolutely love. It's catchy, it's got a great message to it. Just everything. I know if anybody ends up watching this video, and you're just looking for some songs to listen to, maybe you don't want to listen to the whole album, definitely recommend listening to What Don't Belong to Me. It's just a great song overall, kind of talking about how in the past he's given so much of his heart to past relationships that were toxic, didn't work out, and now it's like he wants to give everything that's left in him, but there's really not that much left. It's just very very well done. And to me, when songs have true messages behind them, that holds weight in terms of where they would rank in a tier list. So S tier for me. Um, Next song I believe was "Goes Without Saying," which is a Brad Paisley. I'm gonna put it in. It's close between B and A. I'm gonna give it B for now because I know there's gonna be a lot of A tier songs going forward. Some of these might change, but it's a good song overall. I'd never heard Brad Paisley's work either. I think they performed it together at the Grand Ole Opry, which was pretty cool. That was the first time I heard it. And I think it's a good song overall, but to me, it's like it doesn't stand out that much. It's just kind of, very similar to a lot of the other songs, which is fine. It's his first time making a country album. It's kind of to be expected. They're not all going to be hits, but to me, it's just not that great of a song compared to some of the other ones that we have in here. So I'll keep it in B tier for now. Next was Nosedive, and to me, this is also B. I'm probably gonna end up moving one of these to A. I don't know which one yet, so I'll decide that in a little bit. Nosedive is another song that kind of goes down the middle for me. I do like the slower tempo to it. I think it fits well with the lyricism. Definitely a strong message in there too, kind of talking about how even in tough times, it's like you can find the good in it. And I think that's an important message to kind of spread around to everyone. But it's almost a bit too slow for my liking. Certain songs work with a really really slow beat. This one it works with it, but it's not outstanding in my opinion. So I'm going to leave it in B tier. Lainey Wilson is definitely a very talented artist, though. Another person who I never heard sing before up until that Grand Ole Opry when they sang it together, and then obviously when it came out on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Next was, I believe it was Guy for That. Oh, you know what? Guy for That might have been after Goes Without Saying. Now that I think about it, and then Nosedive was after that, so that's my fault. Guy for That to me is a C tier song in the grand scheme of things. It's compared to the other song with Luke Combs, this song is not very good at all. I think it has a similar problem to Have the Heart in that it's very, very short, very, very repetitive, and there's not that much of a message. I liked it when it came out at first. I didn't like it as much as Pour Me a Drink or I Had Some Help in terms of like the three solo songs that came out. I thought it's a okay song. It's not one to me like there's really not any songs on this album that I would skip if they come on, but at the same time it's like compared to these songs up here, I would not listen to this over any of these ones in B, A, or S. It's too short, too repetitive. I think they could have done a much better job there. So it was Guy for That, and then Nosedive, and then after that, I think it was Losers. And this one to me is probably like a B minus type of song. It's end of B, top of C, but I'll give it end of B for now. Um, I never heard Jelly Roll sing either. I do know his story. It's probably one of the better known stories out there in terms of like country music artists. It's pretty inspirational if you ask me. Just a guy who came out of jail, obviously wanted to reinvent himself, and he went to country music for that, and is now one of the more like beloved in the industry, which is it's pretty awesome to see people turn their life around like that. Overall, the song is okay. It's it didn't really click with me all that much. I think that they may have thought that there's a wider audience for their message that they were trying to spread in that song than there really is. I'm sure some people can relate to it, but like I personally wasn't really feeling it that much. But to me, it's still a better song than these ones down here, just by a little bit. Um, After that was Devil I've Been. This one at first would have probably been C tier. I'm going to give it B tier now also. Ernest is another guy I'd never heard before. And I think he's a good feature for a song like this. One of the more upbeat ones in the album, I feel like. It wasn't really the message that did it for me or anything like that. It was just kind of a catchy song overall. And, it's a pretty similar thing in all these B tier songs. It's like, there's nothing that really stands out, I feel like, amongst the rest of them. But like at the same time, they're not bad songs. They're songs that I would listen to again, and they're kind of just down the middle. After Devil I've Been, I think was Never Love You Again, and it's another one that's probably going to go in B tier. I think I heard this song played whenever he performed it. I don't know what concert it was, or maybe it was like a show or something like that a couple months ago. It's a good song. I think the slower tempo works for it as well, but at the same time, like the feature on there, Sierra Farrell or Pharrell, however you say it, she was more so just like a background voice almost. Like I was surprised that she didn't get her own verse, or at least like a few lines here and there. I think she added a nice layer to the song by being in the background, but at the same time, I just don't think that she had enough going for her, compared to what she could have had. And I don't know if that's just kind of what they agreed on when they wrote the song. Like you're gonna just kind of be a background voice, and I'm gonna do most of the singing. But I don't know what it was, but I think she probably could have had a bit more influence on it. Like even if they just turned his voice down a little bit in the production, and then her voice up a little bit, I think that would have made it just a little bit better too. But B tier song overall, I feel like. Missing You Like This was next, and now we're getting into some of the really good ones. This is an S tier song for me. Compared to Guy for That, this is just miles ahead of it. I heard he posted I think this was one of the very first clips Post Malone ever put out on Instagram or any social media platform of like songs that are going to be in the F-1 Trillion album. I think this was posted back in like March, February, something like that. And I had no idea that there was going to be a feature on this. He never really talked about a feature being on this. Um, but just everything about the song, I don't know what it is, but I mean, this is just unbelievable song. Definitely a strong message in there. I thought it was a little bit ironic that Luke Combs was the feature again, not necessarily because he already had one, but because I think he's married and he's got a kid, and you're talking about like, the next best thing is laying right here, and like, I'm with someone new, but I'm still thinking about you. It's kind of a weird thing to say, like when you're married and have a kid. And I don't know if he's married. I know he has a kid because I think he just made a new album about being a dad. But yeah, I just thought maybe that there could have been a better feature, but I think, Luke Combs did a great job. Yeah, it's one of the better songs on the album for me. Next was California Sober, and this is like a high A, low S to me. I'm gonna keep it an A for now to try to balance it out a bit, but this is a very, very unique song. I had never heard a song that kind of has like at the end of each line they have like a 10-second hold on the note, which is pretty unique. Definitely what differentiates it from the rest of the songs is the unique sound to it, and there's a couple other songs like that that are very unique in their own way. But I love the song. It's extremely catchy. It's a one of the more like comedic songs, I guess, and I've never really heard him make comedy songs, but it works with this. Yeah, I just think it's a very, very well done song. Hide My Gun is next, one of the slower ones, but I'm also going to give this A tier. I didn't actually catch the message at first until I was watching some album reviews, and people were talking about in the comments like the meanings behind some of these songs. And this one is about like, I'm doing everything I can like for you. Like I would give anything for you. If I'm in like a shitty situation, would you have my back and, kind of help me out, or would you bail on, first notice because it's what's in your best interest and keeps you safe? And I think it's a very interesting song in that regard. Like I said, when songs have messages behind them, it holds weight to me. Um, and yeah, I just think it's Hardy was a great feature for this. I thought maybe he could have had like a couple more lines. His verse was pretty short, but overall, it was a good song. Right About You was next, and this is another one that goes in A, mainly because it's probably B at first until similar to Hide My Gun. I was reading people talking about the message behind it, and it makes sense now. Like the message behind this one, according to what some people said, was more about his transition to country music and how, he says, I wrote songs about sinning, evil women, pills, and cars, things like that in the past. And then I wrote songs about drinking till you walked in and raised the bar. It didn't click with me at first that he was talking about country music as a whole, you obviously would think he's talking about a person. Like, we don't know who that person is, but you know, I just think he does a very good job of using, I guess, metaphors in these songs, and I guess personifying uh, country music as a whole. Which I didn't think this was going to turn into like a school lesson, but I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I got out of it. And so to me, it's an A tier song. I just think it's a good message overall. Mexico is another song that's probably going to go in A for me. It's, again, similar to California, sober. It's very, very unique in just the sound of it. There's not any other song in the album that sounds anything like it, not even close, to be honest. And it's one that's like, is there a real hidden message behind it? No. But like, is it somehow a comedic song that works? Yeah, I think so. And to me, that's, I mean, if it differentiates itself like that, to me, that's like an A tier song. Everyone that I've talked to really got a kick out of the song. And I've heard a bit of his work with Billy Strings before. And so I was expecting there to be some guitar stuff in there, but nothing like that. I can tell you that. And it was a pleasant surprise. So I'll give it A tier as well. Yours is the last one on disc one, and to me, this is an S tier song as well. There's probably only going to be like one, maybe two more S tier songs. I mean, this song, for the people who don't know, who maybe you're watching this video still, maybe you're not. Yours was a song that he wrote about his daughter, like growing up, getting married. I think she's only like 2 or 3. She's still a toddler, but it's a song of, like, kind of looking way forward into the future, and talking about the struggle of, like, it's, I want my daughter to have, the best, happiest life she can have, and that means getting married and, quote unquote, giving her away. But at the same time, it's like an internal struggle of, like, she'll always be my little girl, and it's not easy to give away. Which is, I guess, the term that they use for when your kid gets married, just giving them away. I think it's usually for a dad giving like a daughter away. But anyway, that's kind of the primary message of the song. I think it's, obviously, it makes sense to have a slow tempo to it. Just the lyricism is wonderful on there. Just everything about it is just great. I haven't heard a single person give any type of complaint to this song, really. It's just very, very well done. Moving on to disc two, Fallen in Love is the first one, and this is probably the last song that I'm going to put in S tier. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just, I just love everything about it. It's just, it's catchy. It's got a cool message to it. It's just, yeah, it's a great song overall. I really don't know how else to describe it. It's like, as you, with this many songs, it's like, it's hard to not repeat yourself with what you say. It's just, it's kind of inevitable. There's only so many things that you can talk about, in a 27 song album. But yeah, just, it's a great song overall. I really don't know how else to describe it. Dead at the Honky Tonk. At first, this was probably like a low B song, but I'm actually going to put this in A tier as I've listened to it a few more times. It's a song that obviously I don't resonate with that much, but like, I think it's very well done as a whole. Definitely one that I would encourage people to listen to like a few times before you give it like a true ranking. If you do anything like this, or maybe just like a mental note of it, it's a good song. Killed a Man is another one that's like, it was B and is now probably A, only because, similar to Write About You and Hide My Gun and a couple of other songs where I've talked about how, like, I didn't understand the message of it until I read up on it a little bit from people in like comment sections of other album reviews and things like that. He's talking about killing like a destructive part of himself that has hurt other people in the past, and kind of how getting rid of that has made him a better person and will make him a better person going forward. And I think that's, like I said, when a song has a strong message behind it, it holds weight. And to me, that holds a lot of weight. And so it's an A tier song for me. I don't remember which one's next. I think it's either Ain't How It Ends or maybe Go to Hell. I think it's Ain't How It Ends. To me, it's a high C, low B. I'll put it in B for now. it's a pretty generic song in my opinion in the grand scheme of things. I don't think that it really sounds that unique or different from anything else, kind of just down the middle. These last few, I think Hey Mercedes actually might be next after that. And this is actually going to go in A. Um, Another one that's just extremely catchy, easy to catch a vibe with. It's just a good song overall. Like I said, I'm kind of running out of things to describe with all of these songs. It's easy at first, but then, the more you do, it kind of gets tough to do that. Go to Hell, I think, is next. I honestly don't know anymore. This one I'm going to put in C. Didn't love it that much. I do understand that kind of the message behind it is like, he's in, I don't know if this actually happened to him in real life in the past, but like the situation he paints is like he's in like a manipulative relationship with a girl who can tell him like go to hell and make him like it. Or I think another lyric was like serve him humble pie and make him try it, things like that. Um, things where like he knows that he's not in the wrong, but somehow he's gaslit into feeling like he's in the wrong. And I think it's something a lot of people can relate to actually. And I do understand the message. Just it didn't click with me all that much. Although I've actually talked myself into putting it into B because of that message. We'll put it in B tier. These last three, like I said, I don't really know which one. I think Two Hearts might be next. Another one that I'll put in B tier. I like everything else in here, kind of. It's somewhat generic. I do like it. It's a bit catchy. It's a bit slower as well. But at the same time, it's a bit generic. And yeah, these last two, I think I'm gonna both put in C tier. Back to Texas and Who Needs You. Um, you know, I think like with this many songs in an album, it's like he only has so many things he can talk about really, and so many different sounds he can create that I'm sure he felt a little bit burnt out towards the end. Um, that they're both okay songs. Like I really don't think there's a song on here that I would skip if it comes on. It's more so just like, am I going to be singing my heart out in the car versus am I gonna just kind of listen to it in the back and not sing that much of it. That's kind of the difference between S and A versus like C down here. And then B, I guess, could go either way. Probably gonna end up singing regardless, just because I love Post Malone songs. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, I think this album I would probably give it like an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I think like compared to what it could have been in terms of like a very first country album, I think he knocked it out of the park. In my personal opinion, um, he's gone through so many genres that it's really impressive to me that he's able to keep making so many good hits, no matter what genre he decides to make music in. And with every album, there's not going to be they're not going to go 27 for 27, or it's not going to be 100% success rate. But like to have 5 songs in S tier and then another what 9 in A tier is like you're telling me over half of them are A tier or above in my personal opinion. Like that's a success, without a doubt. So great album overall. I'm excited to hear more of his country music going forward. I'm sure he's going to have another album in the future, probably going to be more of a solo one. I think the whole point of getting all these features was to kind of give him like exposure in the country industry, and definitely did that. I think this is probably going to be a album that gets a lot of listens across all of country music, or anybody that listens to country music, really. Just something new to listen to. And it's kind of genius because if you're a fan of like any of these artists that happen to have a feature on here, you're probably going to listen to that song, and then you might listen to songs around it too, or maybe the whole album. So it was a great idea to bring on all these features. Obviously, one of the most genuine guys in the country industry, or in the music industry in general, really. So I'm sure a lot of these people were beyond honored to be on a song with him. And yeah, so I think that's going to cap it off. Like I said, this is probably the first video I'll ever post on YouTube. If you somehow still happen to be watching, thank you so much for kind of sticking through the whole way. Going forward, you're probably never going to hear me say like, "Oh, like and subscribe, comment, anything like that." It's just I'm more so posting these things kind of for fun, just to put my opinion on the internet. It's not really to make a whole lot of money off of it, anything like that. It's just kind of if anybody wants to tune in and take time out of their day to watch me talk about things like this, that I really appreciate that. It means a lot. I'll probably end up posting a lot of things that are sports related because that's really where I spend a lot of my um time is like following sports. I'm a huge football fan. I'm a huge basketball fan, pretty big baseball fan. So maybe I'll do more tier lists, but then, NFL players at certain positions or NBA, maybe MLB, um, maybe some standing projections, things like that. But if there's other albums that anybody wants me to make a tier list to, definitely more than happy to do that. Just let me know, I guess, in the comments if somehow you happen to still be watching this. So hope everyone has a great day, and thanks so much for watching.